Hey guys and girls, my name's Dan. Welcome back to the Forge. In this episode, trust me, I'm a blacksmith. Let's talk more about fork truck tines. So about an hour ago, I went round to the people that supply me with my forklift truck tine, and I went and got some more. I got six tines in total, and they got shed loads. I called them up this morning. I also got two lots of this chain here that's brand new that they've messed up somehow, I don't know, and then two bags on the floor. There's only 5 here because the other one is there. Anyway, I'm going to get these in the workshop and let's have a chat about tine. So after the really good response I had literally this morning from the video where I talked about magic metals, in the video I mentioned these bad boys, forklift truck tines. These are the forks that come off the front of a forklift, or a side-loading forklift, or a telehandler. For example, this set here and this set here, they've come off a standard forklift truck, so a front-loading forklift truck, and this set here have come off a Manitou telehandler. I didn't get any of the bigger ones that have come off of the side loaders, but just to give you a little idea what they're used for, something like this is a 1.5 ton fork truck. Something like this is maybe a 2.5, perhaps a 3 ton fork truck. Although saying that this is a bit thin for a 3.5 ton fork truck. But this here is would be possibly used for about 2.5 tons on a front end loader, or what's known as a load haul or a Manitou or whatever. Now, why abandon such good material off a machine so that I can go and pick it up and use it if it's scrap metal? Well, in the UK and in Europe, I believe, we have certain regulations about lifting equipment. So all equipment that we use, from hand drills, hand hammers, all the way up to plant equipment like excavators, bulldozers, or machinery like this power hammer, for example, would be covered under the Pure Act. And the Pure Act breaks down into a second act that we have here, a law in the UK called LOLA, and that applies to all lifting equipment, and forklifts are lifting equipment. So boron is a trade name. It's sort of like Hardox. They're a chrome-rich material that's wear hardening or work hardening. As these rub on the ground, they get a little bit tougher, puts a bit of longevity in the tine. I have no idea how long these tines were on the machine. These are Cascade tines. I don't know if they specifically deal with one manufacturer like Mitsubishi or someone like that, but they do specialise in aftermarket tines. So these are probably the second set of tines that have been on the machine and could be anywhere between 5 and 10 years old. Now, the nice thing about forklift truck tine is this section here, from the top eye or hook to the bottom eye or hook, or well, even into the bottom of the heel actually of the tine. This stock here is normally a very uniform size, and it's great for making hammers out of. The trick is, what you want to do is cut these off in chunks the width of the tine, so it gives you square material. That's the length of the length of the tine across this way. So this tine here is 40mm by 100mm, which is 4 inch by inch and 5/16, I think. 5/8, sorry, inch and 5/8. What you would want to achieve is a 40 by 40 square block, or inch and 5/8 by inch and 5/8 by 100mm, or 4 inches, and that gives you about a 2.5 pound hammer. This tine here is also 100mm, but it is 45, I believe. Yeah, slightly wider, so 45. So this would be somewhere around 3 pounds, maybe 3.25 pounds. So basically, this bit of the tine here is really easy to work with for another reason as well. Not only is it a very uniform size, whereas anywhere past the heel where it's been rubbed along the ground tends to be a bit smaller than the actual starting stock size, but this part of the tine also tends to be relatively soft. By soft I mean you'll cut it with an angle grinder, you'll cut it with a bandsaw pretty easy. Now, someone asked a good question, how to process this stuff. I'm quite lucky I have a power hammer and a reasonably large fire, so I can get quite large pieces into the forge. So from here to about the back of the heel, I can pretty much cut this with a bandsaw. and the heels sometimes tends to be quite hard and quite difficult to cut. This bit's got hot and then been bent up, and then for the first sort of I don't know, 6 to 8 inches from the back of the heel, that also tends to be quite soft. It's everything forward of the heel tends to be really hard and really difficult to cut with a bandsaw. Now, if you have the luxury of a bandsaw, what I would suggest you do is take the tine and cut the top part of the tine off with the hooks on. And then if you've got nice welded hooks like this one has, this hasn't been welded underneath, it's only been welded on 2 sides, then cut through the welds and break these off, and you've got yourself somewhere in the region of 10 to 15 hammers just in that piece of stock there, if you want hammers. And then once you've done that, what I would try and do is cut this in half somewhere and see if the bandsaw will cut it. If the bandsaw won't cut it, you are now on stage 2 of messing about with your tine. What you want to do then is get an angle grinder. I pretty much cut this into then about 6 to 8 inch lengths, maybe a bit longer, and then I'll just dab them in the fire. I leave them in the fire until they get past their alternistic range, so they're up into their critical temperature. It's not very hot, you only have to get them up to about 724 degrees, somewhere around there, and then let them cool down nice and slowly. This will soften them up a bit. They will then probably cut in your bandsaw. If they don't cut in your bandsaw, you're going to have to cut them with an angle grinder. If you've got the facilities of oxypropane or oxyacetylene, you can cut them with gas. I believe plasma cutters will cut them as well, but they are quite thick. You're getting up towards 2 inches with some of these tines, and finding gas cutting equipment with that sort of pressures is going to cost you a little bit of money. Why bother going to all this trouble? Well, just so you know, I spent £50 today on a pair of these, a pair of those, and a pair of those. 10 to 15 hammers, 10 to 15 hammers, 5 to 10 hammers out of that one. I've got myself quite a bit of stock here for not very much money considering. And then this stuff here, because I've got the power hammer, I can process a lot of it and turn it into stuff for like punches, drifts. This stuff up here by the heel can even be turned into hammers. It gives me an opportunity to make a lot of tooling. What was also pointed out in the comments is anvil-shaped objects. Tine is really tough. This bit of tine here would make a really nice section of anvil. I have somewhere which I can't find, which I tried to dig out for this video, a little bit of anvil welded on some railway track with a nice little bit made for it. Works really well. Boron, this stuff in particular, this actual tine here is made of boron. It is really good because not only does it work hard, and as you use it, it gets tougher. I don't know how hard it becomes until it stops hardening, probably infinitely until it breaks. But this stuff here is oil quenching and water quenching. When they make hardox, as they draw the hardox out of the mills in sheet form, you can buy it pre-hardened. They literally water quench the stuff off, and they do the same with boron. Unfortunately, the boron that they use to make this stuff comes in sheets. They then flame cut it, so they don't want it heat treated anyway. They then bend this bit up and they forge a little taper on there. Then they weld the hooks on and stuff, then they normalise it. Obviously you've got heat affected areas, and then they send it away to be heat treated. But this stuff is really good. If you can get your hands on it, it is worth the hassle. So this video was basically a little bit of extra knowledge. I don't expect it to do as well as the video that I did before, but fork truck tine is great. Let me know what you do with your fork truck tine. Let me know what other materials you like to use. Those comments from before are really nice to have those, so thank you guys for leaving the comments. I really do appreciate it. I try and read as many comments as I can. I do get through most of them, I think. And no, I don't necessarily reply to everything. And I'm sorry about that, but I am trying to interact with you guys as much as possible. It's one of the reasons I do the channel. So yeah, basically that's everything. So thanks for joining me. If you did enjoy this video, remember to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are a subscriber, remember, click that bell for notifications, because it tells you every time I make a video. More of these videos to come, by the way, loads of useful stuff. I'm going to really concentrate on tooling, how to make, where to get stuff from, the processes to go through to make toolings. You guys seem to really be enjoying that sort of content. And I've got some information coming soon about the channel as well, and how we're going to move forward a little bit, but that's soon to come. So yes, that's everything I think. So thank you for joining me. I will leave a link up here to a video, the original video where I talked about magic metals. I will leave a link down here to another video where I talk about another subject. This here is my Patreon, a great way to support the channel. Please go and check that out. And that's there is the subscribe button. Click that and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for joining me. See you later, guys. Bye bye.